Political instability and a series of violent incidents have been escalating across China, accompanied by strange and frightening celestial phenomena happening across the country. As one netizen summarized, in recent years, giant hail in Beijing, a skull cloud over Liaoning, swarms of birds in Sichuan, a plague of frogs in Tianjin, a massive outbreak of whiteflies in Henan, an army of crabs coming ashore in Yantai, a locust plague in Hunan, snakes climbing trees in Guangdong, a mass migration of ants in Jiangsu. What on earth is going on with all these strange phenomena? Let's first look at a series of clips. On June 12, 2025, a video was posted showing multiple people looking to the sky, filming a strange, long object moving within the clouds. They could be heard saying, "A flying dragon in the sky, did you all see it?" The event was widely discussed as a suspected sighting of a dragon. Also in June, a young woman filmed a bizarre sunset where the sky suddenly changed color and shapes resembling strange creatures appeared in the clouds. She asked,
"Look what I captured! Suddenly the sky changed color and this magical sky appeared."
The skies over the capital have been just as active. On the evening of July 5th, a huge circular object that rotates on its own was filmed over Shijingshan, Beijing. Then, on September 29th, at 6:32 p.m., a golden, triangular-shaped object left a bright, yellow-orange trail over Changping, Beijing, and was also seen in Hebei. The official explanation from the Beijing Meteorological Bureau was a rocket cloud, but the caption on another video captured the public's awe. An unidentified flying object appeared over Beijing and Hebei, accompanied by 7 colored auspicious clouds. Shanghai has experienced a wave of similar sightings. On September 17th, a netizen in the Putuo district filmed an object floating and spinning in the night sky. To prove the footage was real, he intentionally zoomed in and out, exclaiming, "Holy sh*, what is this? It doesn't look like a drone." In another clip posted on September 20th, a woman captured a similar object, asking,
"Oh my god! Is this real or fake? What kind of phenomenon is this?"
At the same time, a vlogger filmed it from a high-altitude apartment. "What is this, Shanghai? Look around. It's at least 1 kilometer high." 2 days later, on September 22nd, at 7 p.m., a spectacle of what looked like neon lights at an estimated altitude of 3,000 meters appeared. The netizen who posted the video wrote, "I saw white lights running around in the clouds. What is this?" The skies have been filled with falling fire. On August 23rd, a giant meteor was seen falling over Wuhan, with a witness saying, "It fell very fast." Other fireballs were reported over Shandong and Jiangsu on May 30th. On the ground, strange migrations have been reported nationwide. In Sichuan, swarms of birds had been seen circling the sky in early September. On September 27th, the skies over Ulaanbaatar, Inner Mongolia, were filled with a massive flock of crows, obscuring the sun. The person filming said, so many, so big, so scary. Their calls are also very, very scary. People don't dare to walk, because they also excrete while flying." On September 10th, 2025, in Tianjin, countless frogs swarmed onto the roads, directly obstructing traffic. On the same day, in Yantai, crabs have collectively crawled ashore in doves like an army marching. A few days later, on September 12th, in Guangdong, a large number of snakes have been seen scurrying everywhere and hanging from trees. In Jiangsu, ants have been seen migrating in long lines. In a river in Tanghai, Hubei, thousands of fish were packed so tightly they thrashed desperately, as if suffocating. Is a natural disaster like an earthquake or tsunami about to happen? On July 4th, 2025, it was reported that a massive swarm of locusts had suddenly descended upon a region in Inner Mongolia. A witness described the scene as so densely packed, it gives you goosebumps. The local government later confirmed the outbreak, stating, "Locusts have indeed appeared." On September 23rd, large swarms of flying insects were observed in Arksan National Forest Park, in Inner Mongolia. The next day, a user in Majuli filmed an even more intense scene. He wrote, "The most shocking thing for me in Inner Mongolia wasn't the beautiful autumn, but the apocalyptic swarm of insects in Manjuli, like something out of a movie. In Henan, there has been a massive outbreak of whiteflies, with the small insects flying everywhere like snowflakes. In another part of Henan, an even more unsettling swarm of large, grub-like insects covered trees from the ground to the treetops, devouring every leaf." A netizen said,
"There were so many bugs that it looked like they came straight from hell."
In Hunan, the sky has been filled with locusts, creating a plague that has left the land barren. Another unsettling swarm was reported on September 8, 2025, this time in the city of Changde, Hunan. On June 1, 2025, at Tianjin Lake in Yunnan, hundreds of fish began simultaneously thrashing and leaping from the water. A terrified tourist exclaimed, "I'm so scared!" while a local fisherman in his 50s confirmed, "I've never seen it." Not long ago in Chongqing, more than 100 rare crystal orchids were discovered. This plant is known in Chinese folklore as the flower of the underworld, and its appearance is considered an omen of a dynasty's end. A local record. The older generation always said they bring bad luck if touched. In March 2025, a deeply unsettling omen appeared across Chengdu, Hunan, and Hubei. The widespread flowering of bamboo. This triggered the ancient and terrifying proverb, "When bamboo flowers, move house quickly." The folklore is unambiguous. Bamboo flowers only once in its life, just before it dies, and its flowering is a harbinger of famine and great disaster. As one netizen commented, "In my hometown, they say that when bamboo flowers, people will die." And in November 2024, peach trees in Beijing began to blossom, completely out of season, long after the light snow solar turn. Another sign that the natural order has been broken. The ground itself has begun behaving erratically. On September 14th, a video showed a flooded cornfield where bubbles were continuously rising. The description read, "It's raining from the sky, and the ground is bubbling." The next day, another user posted a clip of gas erupting from the ground after a rainstorm. He wrote, "Look, gas is bubbling out from under the ground, shooting up high like a fountain." Beyond the prophetic signs in the sun and moon, the very fabric of the natural world is tearing apart. On August 28, 2025, heavy snow fell in Gansu province in the middle of early autumn, blanketing the mountains in white. Netizens immediately understood its meaning, lamenting, "Injustices everywhere, and heaven can't bear to watch anymore." This followed a bizarre incident on August 24th in Anhui, where it appeared to snow during 36 degrees Celsius 97 degrees Fahrenheit heat, an event officials clumsily tried to dismiss as a public misperception. On September 13th, 2025, a destructive storm unleashed giant hailstones on Beijing, described as being larger than goose eggs. The hail smashed car windshields and created rivers of ice in the streets. A shocked resident said, "I haven't seen weather like this in 40 years." The skies have been filled with impossibly rare forms of lightning. On August 23rd, blue jet lightning was captured over Guangdong, a phenomenon with an occurrence probability of less than 1 in 10,000. On August 25th, a Hong Kong citizen captured a shocking scene of scarlet rain pouring down, as if the sky was crying blood. Finally, a series of celestial events centered on the capital has been interpreted as the most direct of omens. The sun, the ultimate symbol of the ruler in Chinese tradition, has been the focus of the most direct and chilling omens, all centered on the capital, Beijing. The warnings began to escalate in the autumn of 2025. On September 17th, a terrifying sign appeared, a parhelion, or two suns, in the sky over the city. This is a classic and unambiguous omen of a divided nation, a fractured leadership, and impending civil war. Just 5 days later, on September 22nd, a partial solar eclipse occurred. In ancient belief, an eclipse is a sign that the ruler has lost virtue. The great Tang dynasty prophet Li Chunfeng wrote in his classic text, E Si Zan, that an eclipse foretells a fallen state and a dead ruler. These events were not isolated. They were part of a wave of solar warnings, including repeated halos seen over Beijing on August 16th and September 20th. But the most pointed and unmistakable sign came on October 1st, 2025, the 76th anniversary of the Chinese Communist Party's rise to power. On that day, a massive solar halo appeared over Beijing. In traditional belief, a halo is a sign of rebellion. For it to appear on the very day the regime celebrates its power was interpreted as a direct celestial rebuke, an omen of a dynasty's fall. Prophets from both the West and the East have arrived at the same chilling conclusion, pointing to the same narrow window of time for the final collapse. The warning from the West is stark. Craig Hamilton Parker, the British psychic who accurately predicted both Brexit and the presidency of Donald Trump, foresees a civil war in China by 2025 that will fracture the nation and lead to the end of the CCP. This vision is echoed with chilling precision by Eastern sages. The ancient monk Master Huanbo prophesied that the regime's luck would run out in the year of the Golden Snake, which is 2025. And the modern prophet Dato Zheng Bojian warns that the alignment of 7 stars on February 28, 2025, will be the celestial trigger that shatters the old world order. From ancient monks to modern seers, the message is the same. 2025 is the year of reckoning. But why now? The sheer scale and horror of the omens are a direct reflection of the spiritual crimes committed by the regime. For decades, the Chinese Communist Party has waged a war on God, persecuting Christians, Tibetan Buddhists, and Uyghur Muslims. Its most profound sin, according to these spiritual analyses, is its 26-year campaign to eradicate Falun Gong, a peaceful spiritual group based on truthfulness, compassion, forbearance. The regime's crimes include over 100 forms of torture and the industrial-scale practice of forced live organ harvesting, an atrocity described by international investigators as an evil unprecedented on this planet. A divine principle, understood in both East and West, states that all debts will be repaid. This law is already in motion. Commentator Wang Yukun points to the fates of the high-ranking officials who led the persecution, men who did not believe in gods or karmic retribution. He asks, what was the result? All were sentenced to life imprisonment, all locked up in Qingchang prison, all are suffering in their deep prison cells. Their downfall is the tangible manifestation of divine judgment. This pattern of collapse is so clear that even secular analysts have arrived at the same dire diagnosis. The acclaimed author Ha Jin calls China a ship that has clearly entered an iceberg zone, warning that with one wrong move, the whole ship could sink. Stanford scholar Ru Guowan uses the term decay collapse to describe the nation's state, while commentator Kai Shen-kun distills it to a single word, decline, because the economy is in decline, morale is in decline, and the nation's fortune is in decline. Decline is an irreversible outcome. These omens are the consequence, but they are also a final, merciful warning. As Wang Yukun writes, the past 26 years have been a mercifully long window of time for everyone on Earth to choose between good and evil. The time for choosing is now running out. A great awakening is already underway, with over 440 million Chinese people having courageously renounced their ties to the party. They are breaking free from a regime that is courting death and is highly unlikely to survive past 2025. The message is clear, echoed in the advice of those who have escaped. Distance oneself from the evil of the CCP, and in doing so, to choose good and follow it. The ship of the CCP is sinking, The heavens have given their final warning. The only question that remains is who will heed the call and get to safety before the final judgment falls.